Okay, we're live. All right, everybody. We're just waiting for the notifications to go out here. And yeah, this is like the pre-game show. I'm talking real quiet because I'm in a hot springs and I don't want to bother people. But okay, great. Now I just got to click on this and hey, we're live. All right, guys. Fantastic. Turn the sound down, turn it off. All right. I'm in hot springs by myself. My neck, my shoulders, my lower and upper back have been in excruciating pain the last couple days, and the only thing that can cure it really is a nice hot spring soak. And for me, what I do is I don't stay in a long time. I make it pretty hot, and I stay in for like 20 to 30 minutes and get a really, a really sharp kind of sensation, and then I get out. Now, I think, to be honest with you, some of this feels like a combination of, scrolling arm and quite frankly, I think sleeping. I sleep on my left side. I always have since I got my injury in my 30s. Problem is, hey, Matthew, fist bump, good to see you. All right. The thing is, sleeping on your side, you got your head on the pillow and then, your shoulders down on the bed, and it can be really hard on the shoulders. So, hey, Dave, fist bump, good to see you. All right. So I put a pillow underneath my rib cage on the side when I sleep to try to take the edge off. But this is a pretty nice place, and what I want to do is I want to show it to you before we go too much further. So let me get out of this chair, and I'm not going to watch the phone, but I'll show you what the actual spring looks like. And I got to do this kind of like selfie stick style here. Okay, this is the tub. All right, now let me do this. Hang on, let me stand up. Whoa. That's the actual tub. And it's pretty interesting because it's kind of like industrial, where these are the two pipes that come out, and they're let me do this. Yeah, the dark one is hot, and the light one is cold, and they're the two valves. It's pretty funny actually, just big old ball valves. So this is outside. This room is outside. And there's a couple of lounge chairs here. There's a sink over there. And inside, it's a pretty nice room. This is a glass door. I'm not here to watch TV. That's that's the Japanese style bed on the floor. I got my little guitar amp because I did bring the Red Special with me because I like to take opportunities when I'm away from home to try to, play a little guitar. All right, so let me go ahead and set this down again. You guys may have noticed I grew my mustache back. And I got to tell you, I didn't have my mustache more than 24 hours and somebody said I look like KFC. I can't get away from it. And the other day, I was in a rest area. Come on. There we go. No face detected. Wonder why that is. There we go. I was in a rest area a couple days ago. Let me go back to your comments. Like Sunday, actually, I was in a rest area coming back. And we had a really nice, hey, Mark and Joey, how's it going? Fist bump, you guys. Sorry, I had my phone down. I'm using the Pocket 3 for live streaming. I couldn't see. I couldn't see your comments, but I want to thank you guys. But yeah, I was in a rest stop, and I met a really nice Taiwanese family, husband, wife, and a kid. And the kid was smiling and waving at me, so I waved back, and the guy said to me, how swai, which means like, you're so handsome. When anybody says that, I sit down and I'm like, come on. Now we have a joke here. I'll tell you what it is. Everybody says I look like Colonel Sanders. They call him Uncle Kentucky and Chinese. Now, anybody in the Western speaking world would not say that I look like Colonel Sanders because I don't have the goatee, I don't have the string tie, and I'm not, 95 years old. So, but here it's a cartoon, the cartoon for the chicken place. And apparently, the local people think that it is a compliment if they call you that. So he said, yeah, you look like Uncle Kentucky. You're so handsome. So I sat down, and Chinese is an amazing language for talking trash. But I said, now we have another kind of chicken place in here called Pang Lao Die. Pang means chubby, like me. Lao means old. So Pang Lao Die is kind of like, well, they call it fat daddy chicken in English, but it's kind of like the fat old uncle. So I looked at the guy and I said, what's a Lao Lao name? I'm old. And he said, no, you're not. I said, yeah, I'm 70. And that's old. And then he says, then I said, I'm Pang Pang. And he says, yeah, I'm Pang Pang too. And I said, well, why don't you know I'm the Pang Lao Die, which is it's the competition for KFC. So I don't know. I guess it's not that funny, but anyway, I'm here because of the pain that I've been experiencing. Joey, how's it going, man? I've been enjoying watching your crabbing live streams, man. That's so cool. And doing it for a pretty long time, too. I like that. I like this 3-hour live streams. Pretty amazing. But I haven't had a chance to see you in the chat for quite a while, so welcome back, bro. I appreciate it. And Mark, how you doing? Wow, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you for a while, too, so this is great. I'm not usually on Monday, but the reason I'm here is because I'm in a lot of pain, and I came down here by myself. I didn't bring my family. It's a school night. My daughter's got homework, and she has to be at school tomorrow. So I'm going to live stream for a little while, just say hi to everybody because I haven't been on much. And then I'm going to take another quick hot springs bath before I call it an evening. So, oh gosh, oh man. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Fist bump. Listen, yeah, I know the PT. It's when I hurt my back. I know those physical therapists are amazing people, and they dedicate their lives, to helping others. It's amazing, but they I got a funny story. I don't know if I should tell that, but yeah, it'll get better. But I mean, I don't know if they told you this, but when I hurt my back, I was on a stretcher. I couldn't walk, and they said, we know you think you're never going to get over this, but yeah, it does work. It does, and you have to follow it. But yeah, I joke and I told people, I said, body mechanics is my new religion. You got to treat it like that, don't you? I mean, you can't do the same things you used to do that caused the injury. I now know what caused the injury, and the problem is you get the injury and you don't get hurt, for a couple of, you get hurt then, but you don't feel the results for a couple of days. And I had moved a Studer 24-track machine in the control room of the studio I was working at, and that's what did it. But yeah, so yeah, maybe I can tell this joke. I don't know. It's not really a joke. See, I was at the physical therapist, and I was with my wife, and she's like, Mr. Klein, I see here from your oh yeah, let me stop here and answer more. Yeah, that's April. Yeah. What did you think of that? What did you think of that channel? What did you think of her, Mark? I think she's pretty remarkable, and she's got this. The thing is, right? You just never know about people. You look at them and you just go, you can't read them or anything, but man, oh man, she has some wicked dry humor, and she's self-deprecating, because she has the one eye that's faces inward, she calls herself cross-eyed. And so if she covers that eye with a camera, you can't see it. She's cross-eyed. She did something where she went like that, and then she said, oh, I'm cross-eyed. I was like, oh, it's really hilarious. But yeah, she is amazing. No, she does. And she's real honest about the fact that she thinks she can't hang in there with Casey Stern and Tony Northrup and all those other guys, which is ridiculous. Of course you can. And then she says, because she doesn't live in a place that has very exciting things, and she takes, landscape photography and does squirrels, and stuff. And, I mean, she photographs squirrels. Nothing wrong with that, man. That's good stuff. There's a very entertaining animal for sure. So, but I just want to say that here I am. It's a very serious thing. I'm in the physical therapist's office. It's been a couple weeks. I can walk, but I got a cane. I'm wrapped up like a mummy, just trying to support my back, and I'm sitting down. I'm like, oh, and you guys have had these injuries. You know what I'm talking about. Every breath is a pain, and you're just going, you sound like you're dying, right? And I'm in there with a physical therapist, and she's looking at my chart and stuff, and she looks at my iPhone eye. She says, well, I see here from your, MRI and the radiology that you have a ruptured disc. And I'm like, oh no, it's worse than I thought. And then she says, I mean disc. I'm like, oh. So anyway, but yeah, neck and back pain is, it's bad. But I mean, that was probably one of the most embarrassing things that this woman has ever said or ever done in her life. And all you could do was kind of just make a joke out of it, right? But yeah, like right now, I'm feeling up in here, and it was. See, I blew L5S1, which means the pain is usually down here, right? But it's up here now, and I think it's from. I'm not sure. I think it's from sleep. I had a really bad pain in the right arm, and the hot springs has helped it a lot. I had a problem with my elbow because I changed my studio workstation flow a little bit. I was using my mouse off to the side. I shouldn't have done it that way, but anyway, I should go back and bleep that later, huh? With it. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry to hear about that, Mark. Wow, that's too bad. I don't think we went off. I think we're still on. Let me just check and see. And it looks like, nope, we're still live. Okay. We lost our connection for a second. Okay, good. Good. All right, fantastic. Yeah. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but I'm using the Pocket 3 and it's usually very, very reliable. I'm just not so sure how long I'm going to stay on because I am in quite a bit of pain. But yes, Mark, sorry to hear about that. And all we can do is say, we're sorry, man. We love you and we hope you, it gets better. That's all I can tell you. It's just, that wasn't very long ago. Wow. Yep, but I'm glad you're getting your motivation back. I'm going to change my position here. I'm not going to sit back. I'm going to sit forward a little bit more. Yeah, because this is, there you go. So I know I haven't really showed you guys the red special, but it's sitting in the other room. And moist heat, yeah, that's a good one, which is why I got the tub over here. I don't think you were in the stream when I showed that, but let me just pop this around. This is the hot spring tub. And as soon as I get off this live stream, I'm gonna go in this thing and I'm gonna run the water about 40, 41 degrees C. And yeah, it's about halfway to boiling almost. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing pretty soon. But you're absolutely right about that, man. It makes a big difference. Wow. Yeah, that's why I'm here. This is like a Japanese style onsen. See, Taiwan is a very geothermically active place. So we got earthquakes every day. But yeah, there must be 150 hot springs all over the island, and the East Coast is known for them. And that's the Japanese developed them, And this one here is about an hour from my house. It's in the mountains of Hsinchu. I'm not sure how high we are. I didn't check the elevation here, but probably 1,000 meters up here. But yeah, it's pretty nice. And the room itself that I'm in, this is a fence, and it's actually this is actually outside. That's the other part of the resort. It's on a different level. See, it goes up a hill, right? So like up in this way, there's a walkway. And so you can't see into somebody else's, space. You can only look out. So this is the room, Japanese style floor. And yeah, and then the two lounge chairs that I'm sitting in here. And we got our hot spring over here. Separate pipes for hot water and cold water. And this is carbonic acid. It's very soft. It's not sulfur. There's no smell. It's called a beauty spa. I didn't come here for beauty, but it's supposed to be good for the skin. And when I was in it, it felt very kind of like slippery, I guess is how I would say. Really smooth like that. And so a lot of the ladies like it because it supposedly is kind of like smoothing to the skin. So, yeah. I have a TENS unit too. Yeah, it's really good. And we also have like the best healthcare system in the world. So if I need an MRI or something like that, I can get any of that stuff. But yeah, so basically I'm just going on the premise that this is the same thing that was bothering me kind of last time. You know what I'm saying? We're men, sometimes we're bad about getting help and, going to the doctor and stuff. But yeah, that TENS unit, you're right about that. And that has done a world of good. But I think what I have is I think I overextended my arm on the joint. And I think I hurt my left shoulder from sleeping on it. And my back just, it's just what happens with age. And I usually don't get the upper back. I usually get the lower back. So I soaked in here 2 times tonight for about 20 minutes. And when I end this live stream, I'm going to go for one more. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it sounds like, what it feels like, pinched nerves. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to crank it super high. And I may go for a massage, not here. But when I get back to town, I may go. There's a place that does Thai massage, but you got to be careful. Sometimes they have funny business in those places, and I don't like that. But yeah, but if you ever visit Taiwan, if you like hot springs, it's a hot springs country, and they're all over, and they're all ranges. There's a resort called Evergreen. You can look it up on Google Maps. It's in Jiaoxi in Yilan. It's like a 2.5-hour drive from my house. And it's a full resort. You walk in, it's like Japanese right away. And you can even go to dinner in your bathrobe. The whole place is a resort. And the food is fantastic. Some of them are made of stone. This one here, Mark, this is concrete with an aggregate. It's the little pebbles and stuff. But you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like terrazzo, but they didn't polish it. They got pebbles and stuff down in here. This one's mostly concrete and brick. But they have a lot of natural ones that are made from stone. And there are even around here, if you like to hike, you can hike about anywhere between an hour or 2 hours off the road, depending on which one you go to, and find a natural hot spring. It's just the stream, it's just hot. It's amazing. So, but the place, the Evergreen place, if you look at that on online, it's huge. I think it's like 8 stories or something, a couple hundred rooms, big dining rooms downstairs. The buffet is like, it's like a terminal at the airport. It's huge, right? It's huge. And it's 8,000 NT a night. So that's what? $210 a night per person. And full service. You sleep on the floor on tatami, with a thin mattress. It's really super comfortable. The minute you walk in, you put on a robe, slippers, and like I said, you can walk around the whole resort like that. And then the other side, they've got a swimming area. And a lot of the swimming pools here, spas, they have those nozzles or the big pipes, tubes that come up and they shoot water out of the nozzle at different shapes and so forth that people use for massage at high pressure. Probably seen those. I never saw those in the States, but I think they got them now. But some other countries they have them. And they got the little fish. You can stick your feet, in the pool, and the fish will nibble the skin off and stuff. And um, the Evergreen has various public pools, but one of the main features is that each room has its own private spring, so you can go in there with your family, So, did I try acupuncture? Absolutely, bro. And I have my own needles actually. When I first learned how to speak Chinese when I was a young man, I studied with a kung fu master, and most of the time they tell you how to destroy people, but then the good ones tell you how to put them back together, because you're not supposed to hate your enemy. You're just supposed to, stop him from hurting you. But when I was suffering from the migraine headaches, and Joey, you're going to love this because acupuncture and Chinese medicine is covered under the national health insurance here. If you had, like for example, during the COVID pandemic, Taiwan developed a fully effective natural Chinese medicine treatment for COVID, and it worked, and it was covered by national health insurance. So you just go there, and your copay is $6. You go there and you pay 200 MT. But to get back to your question, back in the days when I was suffering from severe migraine headaches on a daily basis, this is like, the bell curve was about 3 years, but it extended out to like 7 years, right? And I got to where I would feel a headache coming on, and I'd take a needle and one in here, and then one in each one of the meridian points on the hands. And within 20 minutes, it was gone. Unfortunately, I still had the kind of mental fog, that would come with it, but at least I wasn't totally dysfunctional with pain, and I didn't usually it affects my vision. I kind of go blind, you can't see. I wouldn't want to drive with one of those migraines, right? And I still have the needles. I haven't used them, but yeah, it is here. And the other thing they do here is cupping. I don't know if you've seen that. And that's pretty interesting. They have usually glass or clay, like teacups. You've seen it. But for those of you who haven't, they usually line them with like ethyl alcohol. And what they'll do is they'll take a lighter, they'll put it like on your back and your shoulders. They'll put it right over the skin, okay? Like you're going to go down the skin. And they'll take a lighter, and it goes whoosh, and it ignites the fuel, and then they immediately put it on your back, and because it consumes the oxygen, it puts suction on. It's pretty cool. And so you see people, it's quite common, you see people all over Taiwan, their neck has these big purple things. Looks like a giant squid got them, and it goes down into their back. Sometimes women will wear like a tank top or something, you see them all the way down their back. The other thing they do here is, and I forget what it's called. I should know this. I know these words. I just can't think right now. But where they take a piece of wood that's shaped like a kind of a butter knife, but it's bigger, and they use it to scrape. And they scrape along the meridian. They scrape the chi. Yeah. So. Yeah, Philip. I'm looking at Philip. Matthew, yeah, I see M. Philip. I know your name, bro. Matthew, let me just say this. I've talked about this before, but I think that, well, it's been a while since I said this, but my problem was I was an undiagnosed phenylketonuria. I'm allergic to phenylalanine, which means I can't take NutraSweet, and I was drinking diet soda, and that's what did it. And so if you have any kind of artificial sweetener in your life except xylitol, I would recommend removing it. So let me see what Joey says here. Yeah, that's pretty common. And they look at the eye, and they take the pulse in several places on both sides. You notice that? And they describe it as being, is the pulse slippery? In other words, it's kind of strange. Like when you're putting your finger on it, does it feel like you're chasing the part around with the pulse? Does it feel strong? Does it feel weak? Is it stable? Is the pressure the same, or is it, varying? So there's quite a lot of things. They look at the tongue, and sometimes they'll scrape the tongue and see what it looks like underneath. If you've got a coating on the tongue, that's usually a digestion, issue. But yeah, we have all of that here in Chinese medicine. And the other thing that I love about our Jimbao system here, the national healthcare, is you don't need a GP. Like, for example, I have this problem in my elbow, right? So it's an ortho problem, right? I mean, I wouldn't go to an internal medicine doctor, for this or for my neck or my back. So in Chinese, orthopedics is gu ke. So I can just go to the hospital in gu ke, and I can go right to the orthopedic department. In fact, I can go online, and I can make a direct appointment to see an orthopedic doctor without any kind of a referral. And it's, like I said, it's between 150 and 200 NT. So 30 NT is $1. So if it's 200 NT, it's $6. That's what you pay to see the doctor, or $5 depending, And so, yeah, that's one of the big things that's keeping me in Asia, keeping me in Taiwan in particular, because if I moved to the United States, I don't think I could afford the healthcare, because I have to see a doctor every month for my arrhythmia. But the doctor he speaks English, and he's from Hong Kong, but he also practices Chinese medicine as well as Western medicine. It's really amazing. So I talked to him about supplements like CoQ10 and other things that have helped me a lot. And he even recommends some of those to his cardiac patients, which is something. Hey, Joe, I'm so glad you came in, man. You're contributing a lot to this discussion. It's great. So, yeah, acupuncture is amazing. You're not allowed to have dual citizenship here unless you're from China, which is weird. So any person who wants to become naturalized has to give up their native citizenship. And the United States changed their fee. Believe it or not, to renounce your citizenship, it used to cost $450, and then the United States made some significant changes to the income tax code, and a lot of people bailed on the U.S. and renounced their citizenship, so they raised it to $2,500 US. But here's a joke: to get a Taiwan ID, I go down to a local place called a hukou, not to be confused with my town hukou, different tones, but the hukou is a household registration. I fill out a 2-page form, sign my name, put my stamp on it, and give them 1,500 NT, which is $150. No, sorry, it's let's see, like $50, and then I can get a Taiwan ID. But then I got to go to the AIT and go and jump through a bunch of flaming hoops while they try to talk you out of it and all this stuff, and then pay $2,500. What I have is called an APRC. The ARC is the Alien Registration Certificate. These days it's a laminated card. But I have an APRC, and the P means permanent. And they use the term yong for like forever. And so I don't have to have a job, and I don't have to be married to a citizen, or I don't have to have, I've been here, let me see, in February 5th will be 22 years. And so I've had the APRC, I don't know, 10 years, more than that. Yeah, a lot more than that, I forgot actually. So yeah, permanent residence, exactly. So it's an equivalent to a green card, in the USA, but it's not an automatic path to citizenship. But you still have, the same responsibilities with taxation and, obedience and everything else, which you have to conform to. Is no problem. And so I'm not one of those foreigners that doesn't what's the word I'm looking for? Integrate, When I was in the States, I used to hear people complain because, like, my next door neighbors were from Cambodia on the left side, and they were the most amazing neighbors that I ever had. They were fantastic. And they worked really super hard, to speak English and fit in and assimilate. That's the word I wanted. But I heard people getting all upset about, oh, look at the Vietnamese people. They're going to the Vietnam market, shopping at the Vietnam stores. They're not talking in English, and it's like, wow, okay. And so where I live, there is no English. The minute I shut my door to go out in the morning, it's Chinese full on all the way. And yeah, I don't like hang out in expat spaces. There really aren't any, but I wouldn't anyway. Like when I go to Kaohsiung, there's a couple of bars that I like to hang out. But yep, that's right. Any country living, you obey the laws. Yeah, and it's funny because I obey the laws to a higher degree than the locals do. They'll drive on the sidewalk and do stupid stuff like that, and I just refuse to do it. And I mean, there's a sign on my sidewalk in 5 languages, and I can read 2 of them, and it says, no e-bikes, no motorcycles on the sidewalk. And so I'll see somebody and I'll ask them in Chinese, can you read Chinese? I can read Chinese. Can you read Chinese? You know what it says? But they just, No, Cantonese is from Canton, Guangdong, which is a province in China, which kind of negates what I'm about to say. But the people from Taiwan came from Fujian. And so Taiwanese is very close to Fujian, but they speak Mandarin, just bone stock Mandarin with a Taiwan accent. So, for example, if you learned, just Mandarin Chinese in school, you could get along here just fine. Just the accent's different. I'll give you an example. There's a syllable that you would pronounce like shi, like S-H-I, shi. It's used for a positive, like am or yes. It's a positive particle. Like somebody says, are you MJ? 我是, I am, 我是. Now the shi is very soft in the Taiwanese accent, but in mainland China, it's more like a curled tongue, shi, like this. And you can always tell people are from China because when they speak like that, they'll say, 我是. I was in Beijing, and I don't care how long I've been speaking Chinese, I couldn't understand a stinking word. I was at a hotel. Of course, my wife's native, but she's Taiwanese. And I was at a hotel, and the clerk was speaking, and all I heard was shush, 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 shush. I couldn't understand. It was so bizarre. Then I was on the bus in Beijing, and I was listening to the driver calling out the names of the stops, and I got like 5 of them, and finally I kind of zeroed in on the accent and what they were saying. But I did go to the airport tea shop. I was on my way back to Taiwan, and I ordered a tea, and I just spoke Chinese. There was no English menu, and the guy fixes my tea, and when he set the tea down, he said, "Oh, 你的中文像 Taiwan." He says, "Your Chinese sounds like Taiwanese people," which is really funny. So. Better us speaking English. Yeah, they speak Mandarin. Yep. What makes it tough, Joey, is the tones, right? And here's what's really strange about this. I'm a foreigner here, okay? Sometimes I hear other foreigners speak Chinese and I can't understand them. And I understand that they're coming from a phonetic standpoint. See, we understand like phonics, as their components, okay? So like the word I said, si, there are 4 tones. So you can have si, 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 si. It's like crazy, right? And they all mean different things. So like, for example, si is stone. And then, so that's what kills you. And it's interesting because I was reading something that Michael Turton wrote. He said, if you're a foreigner in Taiwan and you listen to other foreigners speak Chinese and you can't understand them, it means your tones have arrived. You've got the tones, integrated into you. And it's tough, but it becomes second nature. But yeah, I've gone up to a place and said something and realized, oh, I used the wrong tone. And then I just quickly say it again, and I'll point my finger, and as I'm saying it correctly, and they start laughing. It's really funny. Because here's what's interesting. M-A-I. To us, it's just a phonetic block. My, right? But here's the thing. My means sell. My means buy. So, and they're spelled completely different. It's not like the same spelling with a different pronunciation. It's a completely different word spelled differently. And in the mind of the Chinese speaker, because they learned it as it's a non-phonetic language, they learned it as a pictograph. It's a pictographic language. They don't even connect that it's the same sound with a different tone. They don't. They don't understand it, which is why it's hard for Chinese-speaking people, when somebody's tones are not right, for them to say, I think they mean this because they said this phonetic, which brings me to another interesting thing, is that Thai actually is phonetic. Thai is a tonal language too. They have 5 tones. But because it's phonetic, that squiggly writing is actually spelling letters. They're actually spelling the sound. You see, with Chinese, you look at the character and you cannot tell how it's pronounced. I mean, experience might give you, an idea. You might be able to understand the radical, but you generally can't tell, right, from looking at the word, which is yeah, right. Yep. That's like Taiwanese, exactly. And they got their own lingo. And it's kind of like Osaka in Japan. There's Osaka style language. I love this stuff, this local stuff. I would love to walk around Sicily with a Sicilian person and just have them talk trash and just the local flavor. I love this kind of stuff, right? I know you do too. It's amazing. I think it's what makes being human one of the funnest things. So, yeah, lucky you, man. You must feel lucky that you learned that, that you have that background. That's fantastic. Had some Sicilian guys in my neighborhood. These guys can cook. The men can cook. Oh, can they cook? Oh yeah, I bet you can cook too, right? But the Thai people, right? No matter what I say in Thai, they understand it all. They understand all of it. My Thai sucks. But I can order food. I can ask where's the restroom, can I have a glass? And want some soda water. Can you give me some whiskey? Just normal stuff, like ordering food, that kind of stuff, right? And they understand all of it, which is strange because people who come to Taiwan for the first time, they're reading Chinese phrases. If they don't have the tones right, people generally don't understand. 3rd generation Italian American. Wow. And how many generations Italian know that? Back to Adam, right? That's amazing. It's amazing. Love to cook is in my blood. See, I told you. Fist bump, bro. I told you. Yeah. Well, when I was living in Lynn, Mass, I was chief engineer of WLYN, the local station. They had an Italian show, and I got to know the host of the show, and I'm like, hey, Tony, where's a good place to eat in the North End? And he wrote a place down. I took my mom there. Oh, had to wheel us out. It was fantastic, yeah. And last time I was there, I took my wife to the North End, right? And we went to a place, gosh, I forget where it was, but there wasn't anybody speaking English. All Italian around us, And my wife had never experienced that in the States. She'd never been to a place where they weren't speaking in English. But yeah, Wednesday is spaghetti day. Hey, Anthony, they had a Prince spaghetti ad that ran in Boston. Mama throws up the window and she's yelling at Anthony, come home. It's time for spaghetti, time for dinner on Wednesday. It was amazing. They do. And it's nice too. It's nice. And I spent a lot of time. I used to live on Charter Street, Cops Hill, right next to the cemetery or across from the cemetery. I used to live on 71 Charter Street, man. I was around the corner from the Old North Church. That's great. I used to walk, through the Haymarket from Government Center. It was an amazing place. I moved up to Lynn, and Lynn had a lot of Russians, so I learned Russian too. That was cool. That was a cool experience. And we had a continental restaurant in in Lynn, and the minute that you walked into the door, you could the minute you walked into the door, you could change into Russian. So yeah, a lot of people remember that. Hey, Anthony, Wednesday is Spaghetti Day, Prince Spaghetti Day. It's fantastic. But, the Bova Bakery on Salem Street is still there. I used to go there. I'm talking like 19, 1981, bro. I was at Bova Bakery, and I took my wife there, and they still had the lobster tails and the cannolis. It was just fantastic. So Joey's saying it's very authentic. You're talking about the North End up there in Boston. Yep. It's the commercial. Oh yeah, the one. Yeah, it's commercialized, not the same. Yeah, you run that risk. I know what you mean. And the same thing happens to Chinatown. Same thing happens to all those ethnic towns. The last time I went to Boston Chinatown, I was kind of disappointed. They did have a Taiwan cafe, but Boston Chinatown used to have this big arch. Welcome to Chinatown, and it was gifted by Taiwan. It had a big bronze plaque on one of the cornerstones. And last time I went, somebody had pried that off. It was gone. So, gosh, I wonder who might have done that. Wow. Well, I feel better just sitting up and chatting with you guys. Trying not to look down too much on my phone. Trying to hold it up higher. So that's cool. So I can't even tell how long we've been on. Yes, it is Bova Bakery. Yeah, on Salem Street. Yep. And we I took my wife there, and she was very impressed with it. And we got a bunch of cannolis and lobster tails and that kind of stuff, right? And we took them to the restaurant where I said, "Look, man, you got to get a chicken parm, man. You're in Boston Chinatown. You just don't, you'd never be able to go home without having a chicken parm, So that's what we had, and really good. Sauce was just phenomenal. It's hard to describe these things, The flavors are just so rich, and it sits on you. It sits well with you later, if you know what I mean. We have a saying in Chinese about how chi, and it has a meaning deeper than just tastes good. Yeah, Chinatown in New York City. I haven't been there in a long, long time. You got several Chinatowns. I did not know that. Brooklyn, New York, and Queens. I did not know that. I only remember the one I went to years ago. It was an old one. I went there and would get daikon and some other stuff. I was visiting from Greensboro, and a friend of mine asked me to give me a laundry list of stuff to get from Boston Chinatown. What's the name of the big street? Canal Street, right? Is that where it was? Canal Street, I think. But yeah, so I was in Hong Kong, in Kowloon, right? And I was walking down the street, Joey, and I got this aroma from one of the restaurants. And I said, like right out loud, I said, wow, that smells like Boston Chinatown. Because all those guys were from Hong Kong, most of them, So, but it's all changed. Last time I went there, most of the places are gone. There was one Mandarin restaurant in there that was pretty good. They had northern style food, and it was pretty good. But the last time I went to the Taiwan cafe and heard people talking in Taiwanese, which is pretty cool. But if you ever get a chance, I don't know if they have them, but if you ever, and I talked about this before, if you ever find one of those restaurants, yeah, I tell you, oh, it doesn't take much. And I'm fasting too, so I haven't eaten a single thing today. Sweet potato leaves. Joey, I don't know I know you can get like the challah vegetable, right? Which is the water spinach. But if you can get the sweet potato leaves in some of those Chinese restaurants or Taiwan restaurants, it'll be your favorite vegetable. You'll never go back because, oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. It makes total sense. I know a friend of mine from Lynn, and he actually grew up in Boston Chinatown when he was young. And his mother married I'll say a white guy, but his mom's from Hong Kong, and their family settled in Boston in the Chinatown, and that's where he grew up. That's where they live. So Canal Street, yeah, I remember that. That's a long time. Gosh, we're going back. I mean, this is like late 70s for me. Wow. Don't apologize, because he's not complaining. He loves it. Yeah, we all do. I probably should probably do a show on food, but I want to wrap this up in a minute. But before I do, I should do this because I have been neglectful. I've got the red special in the other room. I got to show it to you. Really. And do they have the tanks? You know, we could pick the stuff that you want, because I love that. That reminds me, I gotta go get myself a mantis shrimp in one of these places. So I've been meaning to try one of those, and I haven't for a long time. I'm gonna go inside here for a minute. Now, in November 20th of last year, this guitar finally arrived, and I never really showed it to you guys. Okay, but let me do this. Let me make sure that the camera's following me. Okay, it is. And I'm gonna put this so it's down further. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me see. Here we go. We're write it down. Okay, sounds like a good idea. Now, for those of you who don't actually know, this is a millimeter accurate replica of Brian May's Red Special. Okay, and I named her Rosaline, made by Raymond Guitar Works in Barcelona, Spain. And this is the best guitar that I've ever even heard of. This is the pinnacle of my collection. Right now I've got 13 guitars, and this is the number one. My second one is Helene. It's my Sunburst Les Paul. But this thing, roller bridge, designed in 1964 by Brian May. But I mean, look at the color in this thing. This is just phenomenal. And it sounds out of this world. It's off the charts. So I got to do a live stream to show you guys. So yeah, it's really good, Joey, that I got a chance to talk with you. Say hello to your lovely wife for us, please, from Taiwan. And thank you so much. And I'm going to catch you on one of your live streams. I know we have a time difference. We never complain about that, but yeah. But I'll have to do a stream where I play this thing for you. It's got the largest neck I've ever seen. It's like a baseball bat. It's monster, and it takes a while to get used to it. Once you do, it's like, I don't want to play anything else. But here it is. Same. It's a duplicate. It really is. It's hard to tell the difference with the real one, except the real one is beat up after 40 some years of being on the road. So yeah, Szechuan cooking. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah, and we have some authentic Chinese stuff here. Different regions, but Joey, you got to try Taiwan food, man. If you never tried Taiwan food, it's off the charts. I know what you're talking about. So it's okay. We're not checking spelling. But let me go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I want to say Taijian, Wan An. And we'll see you again next time. We appreciate everybody. I appreciate the new subscribers I've had, because I haven't really been doing much of it. I've been so busy. But I'm going to do some more stories about what's going on with my trike and some of those things. And I'm going back to the States because I have to help my sister with some stuff. And I'm doing some final work on a vintage guitar amp I'm bringing back to Taiwan. It's the world's first modeling amplifier. It's pretty cool. And yep, guitar it's really something. It sounds just like the real thing. So you guys take care, and we'll see you next time. And remember, I love all you guys, and just hang in there, because things are going to get better. Let me go over here to the studio and make sure that I can end this live stream properly. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining. Give me a second here. I gotta push the button on this. Oh, this is embarrassing. Gotta connect to it again. it's like your big ending is all messed up. Good night, everybody. Take care. This live stream ends now.